So, as I mentioned, UKDRI operates in 10 centers across UK, and all of these centers generate data. I have almost 500 colleagues within UKDRI, and collectively, we generate almost 100 terabytes of data each month. But assume the amount of knowledge and data and insights generated by UKDRI researchers. But the problem is all insights remain trapped in individual labs. And no institute-wide integration happened yet. And there is no unified platform to analyze or democratize this knowledge. And there are some legacy tools. They are so slow or they fail. And the main point is most of tools are inaccessible to non-technical researchers, and you need to be biologist or a bioinformatician to work and interact with these pieces of software. So the challenge is clear. We need a platform that could integrate, scale, and make sense of this complexity. So that's where DataMap comes in. DataMap is designed to support seamless integration of biological data sets across the UKDRI. And it focuses on 3 core areas: data integration, data democratization, and investigation. So in terms of data integration, DataMap aims to facilitating the harmonization and utilization of heterogeneous data sets across UKDRI. And after that, we are going to democratize this data. DataMap is a secure tool for making UKDRI data accessible and interpretable to the widest range of users, stakeholders, and researchers via a web. And finally, we are going to provide users with different investigation tools. And since we have a user group of 10 or 20 biologists that shape this app, the app is user-centric and it is so user-friendly, and even non-technical users can interact with it with a massive knowledge graph easily. So DataMap workflow is modular and interoperable by design. We integrate across multi-omics layers, including genes, proteins, phenotypes, and traits to support multi-layer analysis. And DataMap allows researchers to dive into the detail of different layer of human genome, because it's a gene-centric knowledge graph, and you can integrate different type of data modality and data types to it. So, and the main thing is DataMap is built to be FAIR compliant and open. It is findable, accessible, and interoperable and reusable. And so, since it is user-centric, it's designed to be simple as well as it can be. So, finally, the aim is simple: take you from raw data ingestion to actionable biological insights. So, technical challenges, I really like this part. So we mainly had 5 main challenges. The first one is graph performance at scale. So as the graph is getting bigger and bigger, traversing it will be more time consumed and memory. And it was the first problem that we needed to resolve: slow traversals in large biological networks. The next one is heavy computational workload. There are some tasks like a statistical evaluation across a co-expression network which normally take almost 1 hour to calculate or to get done. So, but we need to do them on fly when we are going to make this data accessible via a web application. So DataMap can do this calculation less than 5 seconds. In my point of view, it's still high because when we're developing a web application, it could be do all this stuff less than 1 second. But the main bottleneck was front-end visualization. So assume you're going to visualize tons of components. For example, this graph here has almost 3,000 edges or links and almost 300 nodes. It means the browser needs to render almost 3,000 or 2,500 JS or TS components. So it would normally crash or it will be slow. Even Neo4j user interface has this problem. But we resolve this problem with a kind of very simple trick that I will explain further in these slides. And finally, ensuring scalability and usability for non-technical users was the main theme here. So these are not small hurdles, but they shape the architecture we ended up for data. So the solution that we chose for microservices, or better to say, the architecture that we chose for DataMap was microservices or oriented architecture or microservices. So we also use dynamic schema handling via metaprogramming to adapt quickly to new data types, as we are going to incorporate different data sets. And when you are incorporating different data sets with a knowledge graph, it would normally add different new entities to your graph and your backend. And the web app backend needs to be flexible enough to process these entities. So Python metaprogramming is a key here. For speed, we introduce in-memory acceleration with Redis stack. It gives us rapid lookups, cache traversals, and pre-computed load, which is amazing. We could resolve the first challenge that we had with graph performance at a scale using Redis stack. Also, DataMap has Redis streams. It acts as a message passing system or message bus that allow different components that you can see in this diagram here to communicate with each other. As you know, when you implement the microservices system, these different components usually communicate with each other through a RESTful API or something similar. But with something like Redis stream, you can increase the hit rate and also and while you're reducing latency. So one of the other challenges that we have when implementing the microservices is user authentication. You need to do authentication for all different components that you implemented. So we implemented PXE authentication flow that to make user authentication happen in DataMap, and also it's front end built by a very modern interface, programming languages like TypeScript and React, and also we use D3.js to resolve front-end visualization. So I'm going to talk a bit about microservices in this slide. So the microservices model means we can break down complex and memory-intensive problems into a smaller and manageable tasks. These tasks run independently in parallel, which improve efficiency and resource usage. And it gives us flexibility since research is modular. Um, the piece of software that you develop needs to be flexible enough to accept different ideas and thoughts. And as an RSC, our mission is to convert or transfer researcher ideas to software productions. The app needs to be flexible enough to accept these kind of changes and new ideas. And finally, when you break down a very big source code into a smaller components, it allows you to collaborate much easier across teams. So if you have a very big code base, you can break it down into different components and deploy it as a microservices. But there is a very famous quote regarding microservices, and it says only use microservices when you really need it. It has many advantages, but many headaches like data consistency, database management, and also authentication. So regarding in-memory acceleration, Redis stack was a game changer for us. It reduced cold start for different traversals across the graph. And the thing is, users doesn't interact with the main graph database. They interact with Redis. So the DataMap brings but when a user creates a query or send a query to DataMap, it brings a projection of graph to Redis stack, and a user interacts with Redis stack instead of new project that improve hit rate and also reduce latency. So the another trick that we did in DataMap was converting a graph to SVG that resolved the front-end visualization bottleneck. Users, instead of interacting with different JavaScript or TypeScript components, they interact with the SVG, which is more likely. Also, as we are going to incorporate tons of data set to a knowledge graph, it normally increases the number of filters, and it will mess up the user interface. So we are going to integrate an LLM with DataMap to make the user interface much better and make it more user-friendly. Regarding performance, with these optimizations, we achieve cold start traversal under 5 seconds. Redis cache traversal is under 500 milliseconds. Redis stream throughput of 80,000 operations per second, and a memory footprint of less than 500 megabytes per service. These results means we can handle large and complex data sets interactively without sacrificing speed or user experience. So we tested the system on top of a huge biological data set. It includes almost 500 million gene links, plus millions of links for drug and trade interactions. So, and in conclusion, DataMap is a benefits from a user-centric design. As I mentioned, we have a user group of 20 biologists and bioinformaticians. They helped us to shape DataMap. It's going to integrate data and knowledge across UKDRI, and finally democratize them. It is accessible to all users worldwide, and it benefits from microservices design. So thank you so much for your attention. If you have any question, you are more than welcome to ask. It's regarding this question, it's only, should I read the question?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can read for you.
Okay.
So there is a question, does this tool extend to omics data from other biological systems, not only the brain?
No, it's only about brain because UKDRI specifically work on brain, and we are not going to integrate biological data from other cell types or human body region.
Thank you. There is another question. Is DataMap open source, or can I run my own instance of it?
No, it's not yet open source, but we are going to make it open source in next 3 years. We still have problem with GDPR.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, our next question is, what are a few of the most common analysis that DataMap is being used for?
So basically, DataMap is for democratizing biological data, but researchers can request different tools to analyze their data. For example, for now, it can handle protein-protein interaction analysis and also drug interaction analysis. I'm not the best person to answer this question because I'm a software engineer.
Okay, thank you so much for that insightful presentation.